tonight celebrates someone who is listed on the electoral roll as T. Sullivan, mother of Leah and Sean. We know her as Tina Cross. Benny winner for 2014. She was born in Otara into a happy household, 6 brothers and sisters, and she continued being happy during her school days at Penrose High School, which later changed its name to One Tree Hill College, though it had lost the tree 8 years before. Tina's first appearance as a singer was in the school band, which was appropriately enough named Chalk Dust. And they had a TV audition in 1975. The band was turned down on the spot, but the 2 singers, Kim Hart and Tina Cross, were approached. Would they be interested in appearing on TV? Well, they were. And Tina made her debut as a dancer. She did her first television appearances as a dancer while she was still at school, and after she finished school, she remained on the screen for 6 months, dancing in a show called Top of the World. But of course, it was the singing who led her upwards. And within the next 2 years, she'd been engaged by Howard Morrison to tour America with him, and she made many appearances on Ready to Roll and other shows we remember so fondly when Television New Zealand did use professional entertainers still. But I think you get the point, don't you? But the biggest opportunity at that point was Carl Doy's song, Nothing But Dreams, 1979 Pacific Song Contest, and Carl Doy and Tina Cross's win of that trophy led to much prominence, CD releases in New Zealand, but she had her eye on Australia, and she moved there to form a group called Coup d'Etat and enjoyed the hit they had with Too Young for Promises. Over the following years, that young lady worked with Tom Jones, Sammy Davis Jr. and Meatloaf, but she regarded New Zealand as a pleasant place to live and bring up children, so returned home. She continues to nurture an ambition to work with Mick Jagger. Keep it up, Tina, there's still hope. Now, the concert and cabaret music still keep coming in, but Tina eventually discovered music theatre. Now, it is very impressive and rather curious that the roles she's played on the stage have been completely against type, with not a trace of her own character. For instance, Ray mentioned the Rocky Horror Show, in which Tina played Dr. Frankenfurter's weird groupie called Columbia. She played twice in Chicago, the show Chicago, both times as a jailed murderess. Then she played a disillusioned street girl in Miss Saigon. But undoubtedly, the most out-of-character role that Tina played on stage, she's played twice. The ragged old Grisabella in Cats. Anything less bedraggled or grizzled you can't imagine than Tina, but she played this aged moggy who is lonely, rejected, decrepit, scruffy with age, so feels she must leave the world and not embarrass other cats any longer. Now this, of course, showed Tina, of course, is neither lonely or rejected and certainly not decrepit and scruffy. She keeps eternally trim, and I can tell you how. She keeps eternally trim with a breakfast of lecithin granules and a mixture of green vegetables, fish oil and yogurt. During the day, she takes soup without bread, coffee without milk, but is partial to a low-fat banana loaf and omelettes made with egg whites mixed with spinach and salmon. Plus, she sticks to a keep fit routine with the rather odd name of body jam, presumably without sugar. But there was one theatre role that did have an effect on her. The 2004 stage version of Once Were Warriors, in which Tina played Beth Hickey. It was, she later said, an eye-opening experience for a young woman whose background was happy Otara and was now, night after night, portraying brutal Otara. She later said that she'd heard of such unhappy family situations but had never experienced it herself. And even on the stage, portraying a version of it left her feeling she'd been through hell. It was that which led her to the attention to dwell on the women's refuge movement, which she mentioned earlier. She felt inspired to help and support that group after her experience of playing Beth Hickey. Her song, we heard, is a composition, a donation to the group, and she is now an ambassador for New Zealand Women's Refuge, and she fulfills that role with pride. She is also patron of the North Shore Musical Theatre and ambassador for the South Auckland Hospice. Here is a woman with a dazzling career from which she's prepared to step out to support those whose life has been anything but dazzle. Benny Award winner for 2014, Tina Cross.
I was going to say, I want to know where you got all that information. It's unbelievable. Google is amazing, isn't it? Truly. Well, the breakfast has changed slightly these days. I've got one of those magic bullet things. Do you know what I mean? Where you put spinach and anything you can think of, it's got to be half fruit and half vegetable. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I feel like I've become a part of the VAC family again tonight. And as you were speaking, Max, and the name has been mentioned tonight as well, I was reminded of a time when I was in Hargrave Street, the first sort of rehearsal studio for TVNZ, and a really bleached blonde man came to me and he said to me, "Have you got a manager?" And I said, "No, I don't." I was probably 16 years old, and it was just preceding Top of the World. And he said to me, "I think you could go a long way," and that was Lou Prime. So I would like to dedicate this Benny to the late Lou Prime. Thank you, everybody. God bless.